Welcome to Indie and Unsigned, a presentation of Zagniff Productions, LLC. Broadcasting live from beautiful Zagniff Studios in the heart of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, it is time for this week's episode of Indie and Unsigned, where we bring you tales of the independent entertainer on their way to the big time. Remember who you're listening to today, because you may see them on the big screen or hear them on the radio tomorrow. Hosted by yours truly, the legend in his own mind, the man, the myth, the mad karaoke DJ, Mr. Fingers. And without further ado, let's get into this week's episode. Indie and Unsigned. Hey, what's going on, peoples? How are you doing? How the hell are you doing? It's Saturday. Wake up. If you ain't up by now, it is 1 p.m. in the Central time zone. It is 2 p.m. on the Eastern Shore. So you should be up and moving. It is Saturday, another edition, episode 5 from season 2 of Indie and Unsigned. I'm your boy, Mr. Fingers, the mad karaoke DJ. I just committed a faux pas because I normally don't start my show without repping my squad. So I got to get right with that. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. I know that offends your senses because I know you from Tennessee. I know Go Big Orange, whatever. Anyway, I'm here with Tennessee singer and rapper Southern Rez. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, bro. You all right?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's good to have you on. So, Southern, normally, as I have been doing this show, I have been having people on that I have some sort of background with, that I've either gigged with them or seen them gig or things of that nature. I peeped you, Clayton Thomas. For those of you that aren't familiar, Clayton Thomas used to be a skit writer and a set guy that worked the backgrounds of Wild 'N Out, and is now. Didn't know that, did you?
I did.
Yeah, Clayton. Him and Doughboy, because Doughboy actually was on screen talent, but he and Doughboy go way back. Him and Doughboy and Tahir and all of those guys. Tahir Moore. But Clayton Thomas is doing big things. Content creator, Facebook, YouTube, all of that good stuff. Team Clayton Thomas, Team CT all day. Go check him out. And he was having a talent competition, which he does apparently once a month. I saw it live. I clicked on it, and people were just singing. And the way that the talent competition ran was you had one round. You had the first round where everybody came on and sang a little something. And people that were watching the stream contributed to the Cash App. And the Cash App pot grew as the talent competition went along. And 3 people stood out during this this particular round. That dude, Big Marcus. Big Marcus. Shouts out to Big Marcus. I'm going to holler at him, probably have him on sometime soon.
For sure.
The Ginger G, John Holiday. This dude, look, he looked like he looked like a man of larger stature, fair-skinned, with red hair. And that boy opened up his mouth and started singing. I said, Frankie Beverly, is that you? Like, he just killed it. This young man right here, Southern Rez. Now, what Rez did, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Rez, actually, I'm going to jump right into it. We'll get back to how you got into music and everything like that. But what Rez did was every round, he did a mashup. You essentially would take like a Jodeci and a Drew Hill song and do a mega mix and sing them together. And Rez wound up winning the competition and taking home. It was a nice little chunk of change you got off of that, ain't it?
Yeah, it was about $1,000.
That ain't bad. That's not bad for a day's work.
Not at all. It's a check.
Just to sing a few songs and not need a band or backing tracks or nothing like that. That was, you know. I'm thinking about getting on that thing next time they come around.
There's money in there.
Yeah, shoot, man. Look, because you know that 1400 ain't coming no time soon. So we got that.
Come on now.
The political views and opinions expressed by Mr. Fingers are not necessarily those shared by Indie and Unsigned, Zagniff Productions, or any of its affiliates thereof. Anyway, so he killed it, man. And I was like, I got to get at this cat. So, hit him up on the IG. We got to chopping it up, and here we are. Because I was like, I got to have this cat on. So tell me a little something about yourself, man. Who you are, where you from, blah, blah, blah. Let's let the people know who you are.
Sure. I'm from Tennessee. Been doing music roughly around, well, really all my life, but recording probably about 8 years. But I've been learning different little skills here and there as far as making beats or either recording myself, learning to mix and master. So within those 8 years, 8 to 10 years, I would say that's what my process has been. So it's like going to the gym, putting up shots, and then you can shoot. Okay, now I need to work on my dribbling, and then it's just spreading myself through each area to be a Swiss Army knife, if I don't say so myself.
So you kind of like to take. You say you like to take some hill of hip hop, huh? Wait a minute, you said 8 to 10 years. You look like a young man. You can't be 30 yet. How old are you?
I'm 24.
Good Lord. Well, you know what? I can't say anything about that. I got started around about that time. So I wrote my first song at 14. Remember the old keyboards where you could do the rhythm and the track with the left hand, and then you could riff up here, and with the keyboard split. I wrote this song. I had this crush on this girl. I named the song after everything. I gave it to her. She's like, "That's nice. That's cute." And then I was like, "Okay, heart crushed."
Right.
14 years old, huh, man? So what inspired you to start actually writing? Writing and do you write and produce all of your own stuff?
I could write and produce all of my own stuff, but I went through a phase of where my beats weren't good enough, where I felt like I could rap on them. So I would just go to YouTube and do the typical millennial thing, which is just type beat and the artist you like. So once I found a beat I liked, or either I would hear like a radio hit, and I was like, okay, I want to write to this, because I always seen people doing like covers. So that turned into me being addicted to writing. And also, my cousin in Michigan, he was one of those first people that like got me to writing songs. Like my dad sings, and he's a tremendous singer. So just always coming up under him, I always wanted to sing, or it was just a natural thing. Like I'm riding in the car, learn every song on the radio. And I'm like, how you know all these songs? But
Yes.
I just wanted to mimic what I heard on the radio, and then it became an obsession. So you can also look out for my father. His name is Van Beard. He will be on
Okay, that's who Van Beard is. Okay, Mr. Beard, if you're watching, hello. I'm like, where's the camera? How you doing, Mr. Beard? Appreciate you supporting and putting this out as well. He's been, I could tell. I knew he was a family member. Not too many people named Beard, but he was hyping you up, man. So yeah.
For sure. So that turned into my obsession for music, and then I met my friend Kane Johnson, and from there we he taught me how to make beats, or he just pushed me into the direction. So I was looking, I was like, I wasn't thinking about that at first, but just having somebody to push me into that direction, like, oh yeah, I make beats. And then I thought about it, and this around my 8th grade year. So that's where, going into my freshman year, me wanting to make beats. And then it kind of slowed down because I was playing basketball and caught up in everything else. Want to play with the girls and all of the extra stuff.
Say less, my friend. Say less. Man, look, couldn't tell me nothing. You ain't practice your music. I'm going to football game, going to homecoming dance. And Marquis the car. Then you get to messing with women, and you think, oh, that's why all these songs on the radio is about breaking up. Okay, I got you.
Look, speaking of that, I got projects on the way right now. Like my brain be in so many places at the same time that I be having to kind of devote time to certain areas of my life, and then once I kind of get that caught up, I move on to the next. So I'm pretty sure we got some heartbreak albums coming. Then we got some of my more self-love albums or self-focused albums coming. So I'm just devoting time in all those areas right now.
Good stuff. Good stuff. As a matter of fact, if you listen to most R&B music, and here's the thing, I'm gonna get your opinion on this in a second. But if you listen to most R&B music, it's one of 3 categories. It's either I love you, you broke my heart, or we go in the club to party. It's a cycle. Have you ever noticed that? Like, listen to Brian McKnight, man. 1 minute Brian McKnight talking about if ever I should leave, my work is done, I start back at 1. Then the next one he talking about shoulda, woulda, coulda. Then the next one he like, I'm in the club, let me get some of that. It's a cycle. It's an endless loop. You know what I mean? Like,
how emotional you are until that comes about. You're like, I'm emotional.
Right? Oh man, Carl Thomas. And I wish I never met her. Look, Jay hit that right on point. I wish I never met her at all. He hit it right on point. Oh man! So you said you had a project coming up. So what are you working on?
I have Kobe Child on the way, and that's it's kind of like a rap bag. I might have some singing on it too, but it's more so of a just. It's like putting up shots. I'm getting my practice attempts in the gym up, so when I pop out, I can know I'm sharp in this area of rapping and whatever else, freestyling if I need to. And then I've been thinking about doing a project called No More Broken Hearts. So I've been trying to keep everything somewhat under wraps and not say too much, but it's promotion. So if I can get
Okay.
attracted with either title, then that's cool.
Okay. You said pop out. You got any Greek affiliations there, young man?
Say it again.
I said you said pop out. That phrase jumped out of my mind. You got any Greek affiliations? Your Greek letter organization affiliations?
I don't know it. If I do, I don't know nothing about it.
Okay, so you have joined a fraternity. That's what we're getting at.
No.
Okay. No, that was the thing with pledging. You know, we want somebody number 7, pop out. You know, not. Yeah, don't pay that. No, don't pay that no mind. Don't pay that no mind. We just talking, ladies and gentlemen. It is Indian Unsigned. I'm your host, Mr. Fingers, the Mad Karaoke DJ. If you happen to be watching, because sometimes we do get people that are watching live and just hanging out. If you happen to be watching, drop us a comment in the chat section so we know that you are there. I am monitoring the chat. You watching the chat too, right?
I'm finna go back and watch it now. My phone went off on me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't really see anybody in the thing right now. It says there's one person watching, and I think that might be me because I got to monitor it. But it's okay. We'll get eyes on later. If you happen to be watching the replay, just drop a hashtag replay when you drop your comment so we know when you drop the comment. I'm here with Tennessee singer, rapper, Southern Rez, talking about projects he's got coming up and things of that nature. So let me ask you this question. You said your father's a tremendous singer, so I'm going to go ahead and assume. And what you brought to the table when you went in the talent competition, a lot of R&B heavy. So I'm assuming you had a very immersion. You went through the R&B immersion program growing up.
For
Because
sure.
I would venture to guess your pop and me about the same age because my son is the same age as you. So what type of R&B? What was your R&B flavor? Like, you know, Motown, Philadelphia sound. What?
For sure. Motown for sure. My dad was one of those people, and then like everybody in the family listens to older music or just some type of music in that realm. So, if I go over my auntie's house, I might hear some old jams. If I'm at home, 90% of the time I'm hearing some old jams. You might hear the Whispers, you might hear the Stylistics.
Oh man, stop! You said Whispers. Come
Yes.
on here, yeah, that's a yes sir, boy. Them cats still got them mustaches too. And the beat goes on.
Got a singer's mustache.
Yes sir, yes sir.
So
Yeah.
that turned into me either looking into that music and then relating it to the music we have right now, because a lot of times people just keep sampling the same thing. So I would
No
hear it
doubt.
different ways. So I would be inspired to either jump on that beat or go back and find the original song and be like, okay, I want to flip this my way. And that turned into my production. I was always been inspired by older production. So that feel in my music has always been like a deep, soulful, strong, ground rooted type of music for me.
And so, do you feel that your project is going to be more R&B heavy, or is it going to be hip hop heavy, or is it going to be a good mix of both?
I feel like it's a fine mix of both. I feel like hip hop is. I feel like personally, hip hop and rap is just the babies of rock, jazz, and the Motown R&B groups. All of those in a big gumbo pot, and we adding our own thing to it, and it's being labeled hip hop or rap or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, R&B. The big question about R&B. How hard, difficult have you found so far? Because it sounds like you're still pretty early on in the stages. And one thing I didn't know coming up is by the time you hear somebody's debut album, they've been gigging behind the scenes, you know, traveling. And same thing with comedy and acting and all of that. They've
Uh-huh.
been gigging, they've been traveling, they've been going and playing places for $50 and hitting open mics and things of that nature, just trying to get their sound out, to get to build a following. Um, how difficult have you found it so far? Just in trying to do what it is that you do. Now, I know in today's age, it's a lot easier because all you need now, when I was growing up, you wanted to be on the radio that do exactly what we're doing right now. You had to go to school and get a broadcast journalism degree and intern somewhere, and then maybe you might get the midnight slot and work your way up to the morning drive.
Yeah.
Right now, I have a laptop, a microphone, and a board and an internet connection, and here we are. So, how difficult do you find it is to get your foot in the door, in the first door?
The biggest part I feel like for me was just either networking and learning the game now and not being stuck between because small town syndrome for me is being able to go pass out CDs. Although I can do that, a lot of times I I don't be wanting to do that because I feel like it takes so much time away from what I could do on the internet. So for the first couple years or so with learning this, I'm still learning every day that it's not necessarily about um which is hard to explain. It's not you can do hand to hand, but make sure you're consistent with whatever you're doing. If you're gonna do hand to hand, be consistent with it. If you're gonna do the internet, be consistent with it. So I had to learn consistency, and that's been my biggest issue. So
Okay.
now, watching a lot of interviews and just soaking up game on, okay, what did this person do? Like, for instance, a guy named Russ, he's a platinum artist, and a lot of times when you bring up his name, nobody's really ever heard of him.
Yeah, I'm like, who?
You his perspective and watching other people's Nipsey, for example, Nipsey Hussle. I don't know if you know
Oh,
familiar
I
with.
know. Yeah, I know about Nipsey.
So it was kind of somewhat the same thing. A lot of people didn't really catch on to his music until he passed away. So I mean, it's more so of a just put it out, and when people catch up, it's like a seasonal show. When it comes back, or when people catch up to you, they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna watch the first season of this. I didn't know he had this album, so that's what me
Right.
put shots is like my Kobe Child project or my No More Broken Hearts. It's like me working on my love albums and expressing my feelings in this way. And then when I get to whatever platform, I've been putting up these shots for so long and working on my craft, it just turns into I've been waiting to do this.
And it's funny. It's funny you mentioned the basketball analogy and putting up your shots because the debate is being had right now about who's the greatest, who's the GOAT when it comes to NBA, whether it's LBJ or MJ. And you came along a little late in the game, but when MJ came out, I mean, there was nothing he couldn't do in the paint. I mean, he was gonna come in and no look you off and dunk on you or come up underneath the basket. Like he was gonna do a layup and come underneath the basket and shoot from behind the basket. All those footage that you saw. What
sure.
people don't understand is later in his career, as he started to age, because it happens to all of us, as he started to age, he started working on that jump shot. And then once he found that range, it was completely not. Now he could hit you from outside the arc, or he could come in on you, or he'll come in, dish it out, scoop back out, post up in the corner, and hit you with that corner three. So that's a very interesting analogy that you brought up there. Now you mentioned hand to hand, and I want to make sure I'm following you on that. Hand to hand, you mean like the guys passing out the mixtapes?
Right.
Okay. That's gonna become a thing of the past, man. Hardly anybody has CD player anymore.
Man, and that's what I struggle with a lot. So I think about, do I want to waste my time or not necessarily waste my time? Because if you can get it to somebody's hand that has a CD, then I mean that's still cool. You still build a personal relationship, or just that's an experience that somebody can hold on to. And when you get to this platform where it ain't no CDs no more, and they still got this CD, that turns into a collector's item or whatever.
Oh, for sure.
It's just my heart a lot of times won't allow me just to cut these people off over here and just behind, because it's still good people that listen to CDs. So,
bro, I got books.
Man,
I came I went from as far as portable music. when I came along, it was the 8-track era. Then the 8-tracks progressed to cassettes, and then cassettes progressed to CDs. So I don't know where my cassettes are. All the 8-tracks are at the parents' crib, but I got vinyl here at the house, and I got books on books in the garage in a tote of CDs. Matter of fact, I did the same thing. Like I struggled with that. Like people were like, "Yo, man, I don't really do a lot of digital. You think maybe I can get a copy?" I got like 20 CDs still sitting here at the house from the EP I put out 3-4 years ago because people said they wanted them, and then I ordered 50, and then a bunch of folks were like, "I'll just get the digital because I don't have a CD player, man." So
it's good to have either or.
Yeah, most definitely. So what steps? Like what was it that finally made you say, I'm gonna stop doing this? Obviously I like doing this. I'm gonna go ahead and pursue it. Like make it a full-time deal. Like go, pedal to the floor and go.
It started with hoop dreams, and my freshman year, I made the team, but previously to that, I just had a whole bunch of health issues, and that's no excuse. It's just I had to build my body back up. So once I got to the 9th grade,
that baby needs some milk.
Right. I had to get accustomed to the conditioning, and from getting accustomed to the conditioning, that took most of my freshman year, and then my sophomore year, I spent most of my time trying to learn the speed and what's going on in the game. So I was more so fully devoted to basketball than I was music. I would write music every once in a while, but once I got out of school and I just kind of started falling out of love for basketball, like the grit and grind for it when there no more. So I got to my junior year, we went to state. We lost by 2. I left there because I felt like I wanted more offers because I didn't have any offers at the time, but I felt like I was a good player. I went to JCM, which is, for lack of a better term, it's like the urban school.
Okay.
But everybody excited you get there, but it was a new atmosphere and it was a learning experience. It's not that the people around me were new. It's the mentality of winning wasn't the same. We had a good football team, but once we get to the basketball area, it's like we ain't got a gym half the time. The coaches don't even do scouting reports. We don't know who we playing. So you just walk into the situation hooping. You ain't really having no type of game plan when you go in. So
when you show up and be like, "Oh, these cats actually good."
Right.
Like that episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Right. That's exactly how it will be. Like every night, new face. Now we don't know how this person play until we play them, and then we like, okay, we gotta try to get them next go around. But you don't have no real structure, and that showed me the difference of how I work with structure and how I work without structure. So that has given me a balance between those two.
Okay.
So I got out of school, went to college. I didn't get to take up on any of the offers because of my ACT, which is, I feel like the typical hood guy story. Like he was good enough to play, but he just didn't have the ACT to hoop, or either the will and determination to know, okay, you can keep taking this test and just do better. So like I said, I started losing my drive for it. So once I got to that point, I was like, I'm cool with this. I didn't have that much belief in it no more after that. So I go to the local school and I try out, and I made the team. And I ended up just not going back to school. I was like, it didn't fit me. I feel like the structure itself was cool, but it was just like, do I really want to do this? Nah. But I had started I met Kane again at Jackson State. And I feel like that was my purpose of just going there, for him to remind me, like, you still do music, right? But so now I get back to the situation of where I'm focusing on music. I'm getting better at beats. I see the growth. And from there, it taught me to be self-efficient rather than worrying about what somebody else could do for me. So I started to be more adamant about trying to make beats and make them sound better. And what does my mix sound like on this? Okay, what is my subject matter? Okay, this allows me to express how I feel. And a lot of times I feel like music has always been my outlet to express myself. But when you walk into certain structures, I feel like you're not allowed to express yourself when it comes to how you feel that day, or you become the rebel or the outlaw of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, music has always been Oh, I know I'm tiptoeing in the dangerous waters now because I've got a mixed audience, but I will say that music has always been an expression of things that sometimes had to go unspoken for persons of color. I mean, there were even the coded songs with during slave time, they were planning an escape that night. They said, wade in the water, God's gonna trouble the water. So, they let you know you're going by the water.
Right.
We going down, but we going out by the creek. You understand? So I definitely feel you there. So at what point do you think that you will remain 100% independent, or that you will at some point, as far as being a self-contained unit, like doing all your work yourself, or do you think that you will eventually wind up teaming up with somebody at some point to further your,
I'm expanding as we speak. Like a lot of times, I do know the music I make, and then I'm learning to expand my mindset and my perspective on things. So I don't want to bring somebody into a situation where they feel uncomfortable. And if you feel like you're comfortable working with me, cool. If you don't, then I understand that too. I feel like that's like the guy who get out of jail, then everybody kind of like leery around him because they feel like you straight, like you that type of vibe. So everything.
Say it with your chest, Kevin.
Yeah. But I feel like I'm expanding. I don't know. I feel like if the opportunity presents itself to where it makes sense, cool. But I don't feel like I want to just necessarily give everything away, because I look at this as the same as the stock market or anything. Like, it can either go up or down, and I'm willing to bet on myself. And if I stay consistent, and that's the main thing, just staying consistent and having the product and the determination to be where you want to be. So
okay,
that's my out.
Well, yeah, I asked not necessarily because you're going to be, giving anything away. Now I know in the industry, nothing is free, even at the independent level. But I was more so thinking about, maybe at some point as you grow, maybe getting your own getting a producer, like linking up with a producer, or linking up with and collaborating with a songwriter. Not necessarily giving away any. By all means, hold on to everything you got. But just like a case in point, like as an example, as when JT decided to go solo, then he linked up with the Neptunes, and the Neptunes was the production team for the bulk of that. For the bulk of that album. You dig what I'm saying? Because I've been at the point where you are, and I can tell you, being a one-man show can be exhausting, because you have written the music, you got to come up with the lyrics, and you've already figured out in your head how it's supposed to sound, and then you're trying to create the sound because you're doing the music and you're doing the beat. And you're listening to it, and it doesn't sound like it did. You listen to it, going, that don't sound like it sounded in my head. And then you're trying to get the mix right. You're trying to get the mix right 800 times. And of course, there's the car test. Got to get in the car and listen to it in the car, because
how term comes from. Like, for so long, and when I heard him talking about that, like, and I always been a Kobe fan, so from my younger days of just watching Kobe and then seeing like, this guy's amazing. And then you see like everything that comes with being amazing, and then you learn his process of being amazing. So
right,
I've always wanted to strive for that. And I realized, okay, maybe I don't want to play basketball. I like basketball, but I don't want to play it as bad as I want to do music. Mm-hmm. So I found myself trying to follow in his footsteps. Okay, I'm a hoop in school. I was good at it, but that wasn't my main focus a lot of the times. I'm like, when it come to learning plays and all the extracurriculars, like I was like, okay, I'm losing the love for this, because you know your talent, but somebody trying to bring structure to your talent was the problem. And
right.
At the time,
and that's where I was going with that, because that with the collaborations, because you can be exceptionally gifted, but the folks that are exceptionally gifted that are able to maintain at that level for uber extended period of time, Prince comes to mind when I think of somebody like that. Like Prince was the one man show. Boom, done. Like all he needed was the label to get him going. And once he made his name, and Warner Brothers finally cut him loose and said, okay, whatever, he was already established. But you don't find too many people that are able to get in the business independently and continue at that level where they are. I mean, you could still be, president, CEO, whatever. Like it's all still you, but you still at some point will need, as you grow, it becomes harder to maintain that structure on your own. And that's kind of where I was going with my earlier question.
So we walked into it. I do have somebody that I just started recently buying beats from. The guy is phenomenal. So he has a lot of work that I'm pretty sure is going to be on Kobe Child. So
okay.
A lot of the workload off of me as far as having to worry about, like you was talking about earlier, the mixing and the extracurriculars. Yeah,
because sometimes, man, you get inspired by a song and wake up with a song in your head, you go fire everything up, and you in there big beating and banging, and you got it all together, and you sweating, and you barely got time to go to the bathroom, get yourself a cup of coffee, a cup of water, throw you down a couple of Keebler crackers, and keep on going. And then when you get done with it, and you hear it, you're like, oh, that sounds good. I gotta mix it down. You don't want to deal with the mix down. You don't want to have somebody say, okay, you had an eighth note here and it should be a 16th note. You just want to hand it to somebody and go, here, this is what I did. I need you to clean this up and get back with,
right.
That's why you normally see recorded at, you normally see produced by, recorded at, mastered by. Like everybody's got a step that is all handed off to. So, but at this stage in the game, I think I think you got a good game plan in place. I like the way that your mind works with that.
Appreciate it.
So tell me about Wake 'Em Up, man. That was the second thing that drew me in your direction, because after I'd hit you up, after I saw you on the talent show, then I went back and said, okay, let me check my man's creds. Let me check his social media. Let me see if he's got a YouTube. And there was Wake 'Em Up, Wake 'Em Up, get the breakfast in the morning, Wake 'Em Up, Wake 'Em Up, hit the club with the girl, Wake 'Em Up, Wake 'Em Up. I was like, okay, I'm on this. So tell me about Wake 'Em Up, man.
So that started with a project called Alarm Clock, and the whole theme of the project was just waking people up. But within that, I had other songs that came along: Rise and Shine, Alarm Clock, Rude Awakening. And it's giving the perspective of, okay, I want people to wake up to what I'm doing musically and just, drop some gems here and there that allow people to wake up to their surroundings. So,
well, let me find out you like Dean Big Brother Almighty at the end of school days. Wake up!
And that's my whole, I wouldn't say I make conscious music, but I do at the same time.
Okay.
Once awareness rises, I just write about what I see. So they put a term on it, conscious, but I can't help but just talk about what I see. So
I understand.
I understand.
Is that commercially available anywhere? It's actually Wake 'Em Up. I did. I got Wake 'Em Up off of. I bought a copy. I found it on Amazon Music because I like to. People, do yourself, please. I'm looking at the camera for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Of we ain't gonna say which community, but y'all know which community I'm talking about. If your people decide to give you a hookup because they love you, that's cool. Let's learn to start supporting people when they've got something going on. Let's learn to support them. Don't just say, well, let me get a copy of that free. Go ahead and spend a couple dollars. It's not gonna kill you. How much was that on Amazon? $1?
Yeah, it wasn't that much, bro.
$1. I gave my man $1. I saw him sing on somebody else's show. I gave him $1 to pay for the song that he put out. And that's all it takes. Because if you spend $1 and you spend $1 and you tell your friends about it and they spend $1, then the next thing you know, my man's got $10, $15. He could be starving. That'd be enough to go get himself a number 7 at the McDonald's off the McDonald's value meal. You understand what I'm saying? That could be a tank of gas. That could be a tank of gas for him to get, or I don't know, it could be 5 gallons of gas because gas like $2 a gallon. I don't know what it is in Tennessee, but that could be enough gas to get from point A to point B to make to make it to an appointment with somebody in the industry to get him where he needs to be. So let us please start learning to do that and stop asking everybody for the hookup. Let them give you the hookup if they choose to, but go fully prepared to pay for it. Okay, I'm stepping down off my soapbox now. Thus ends sermonette number 5,678. Now available on cassette, LP, vinyl, phonograph, CD, MP3, APU, CCD, or whatever all them other little designators are, and you can find it on every place that's available to stream. All right, I'm back. Ladies and gentlemen, we here Indian Unsigned, episode 5, season 2, with my man straight out of Tennessee. Where in Tennessee are you from again? You said
Tennessee.
Huh?
Jackson, Tennessee.
Jackson, Tennessee. Singer, rapper, Southern Red. Jackson, huh? How far is Jackson from Knoxville? I think I asked you that already.
That's about 2 hours, if I'm mistaken. No, it might be further than that. Memphis is about like an hour away from us. So.
Oh, okay. So y'all rep the Tigers. So in Jackson, do y'all rep the Tigers? Do y'all rep TSU, or is it all go Big Orange?
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to tell you, but it's a mixture. Rep. Some people went to this school, so they rep that. And some people, it's really divided. To be honest.
I asked that question because I went to Savannah State, but I grew up in Georgia, so I'm repping my dogs. But
sure.
I rep my dogs, but I gotta get some SSU gear, man. Anybody watching this right now, even if you're watching the replay, no, I don't need that music. See, there go my theme music trying to play us off again. Anybody watching this right now, even if you're watching the replay, and you got some hookup on some SSC, some lids, I need some SSU gear. I need to represent my beloved College by the Sea, where Savannah meets the sea.
Talk to him, sing to him.
Where Shannon Sharp ran touchdown, downs, something like that.
Yeah,
that was, man. Let me tell you, that was off topic. There was. I don't think if ever there was a time to be a student at an HBCU, was the 90s, because you had all of the media catered to HBCUs at the time. You had Cosby, who was representing HBCUs. You had The Different World was on TV. You had School Days. You had High Learning. You had, and the amount of talent that has come out of HBCUs during that era, one of which is currently Vice President of the United States. You got Taraji P. from Howard. You got Diddy from Howard. You got Shannon Sharp at Savannah State. Red Grant at Savannah State. Tone Bell from Savannah State. All of them went to Savannah State. I want to, no offense to anybody if because I know some folks take things personal. This is nothing other than the fact that I went to Savannah State. My parents went to Savannah State. My grandparents went to Savannah State, and I love my SSU. That's all that is. So just keep that in your pocket. So I'm gonna try and find me a lid next week. I done took about 3 minutes away from your interview time, man. Let's get back to this thing. Southern Reds, y'all. How you doing, Pepper?
Keeping it steady, man. Keeping it steady.
Oh man! So what is your end goal? This is the question that I ask everybody when I have them on. What is your eventual end goal?
That's tricky. I look at people like to a degree as my end goal. I might look at Jay-Z in certain areas. Okay, I want to be this financially stable or helping in this way with my people or whatever. Just I look at him in that space and I'm like, okay, this might not be my end goal, but I would love to be in this space. So I don't want to allow myself to cut myself short by thinking, okay, I want this to be my end goal, but I can look at this person and admire where they are at the time. So either whether it's being financially stable, like Jay-Z, or having my production level as good as Big Crit or some of the other artists that I look up to.
There's a lot of talent come up out of that area too, right?
For sure, out of Memphis, they really been blowing up a lot. It's just some of the names is 3 Six Mafia, just for an older crowd.
Hey, watch your mouth now, because I used to get down on that. I gotta stay fly.
You're 22, right?
Bruh, I'm 50.
No, I thought you ain't supposed to. I was trying to throw you that.
How the hell am I supposed to pull that off? Come on, man.
I got a
I just
home.
got done saying 10 minutes ago I got a son your age. Man, you gonna tell me you gonna come at me with some you gotta do better than that, man. Come on. If you go lie, you gotta at least make the lie believable.
Good. That show you how good I am in line. Let's get it over with.
Yeah, I remember 3-6, man. God, man, you couldn't go anywhere without hearing 3-6. And I was living in DC at the time. And Wale was on the come up when 3-6 was doing their thing.
That's my
And
guy.
people were bumping 3-6.
Yeah, I like Wale too. That's one of the guys that I listen to. Like one of the guys I listen to. One day, I want everybody that I was listening to. Like my end goal is to become a global artist, be financially stable. If I'm not financially stable, then I know things happen. But I feel like that's a part of the plan. So I feel like I can't fail if it's a part of the plan. You keep striving for it. I want to be able to leave generational wealth for my future grandkids and my children. So my mind is just mostly focused on being financially stable and leaving behind a music that can be lived by, because history only repeats itself.
It does. Sadly, it does have a tendency to do that. So you mentioned there's a lot of artists that you threw some names out there. Is there anybody on a local level that you have worked with that really just whether you worked with them or if it's somebody that you followed that has influenced you in some way from a musical standpoint?
Shout out to my guy Legend AME. We actually did a feature on. Shout out to Zell. He's a big he was one of the first people that ever took me to a studio or invited me to a studio. So that was like a cool experience for me and him and the other people that were involved. Dietrich Murphy, his rap name is DK. We got some music coming up too. So I have a lot of people that I've tapped in with. I know a lot of times, like, this is the thing for me. It seems like you can tell there's kind of a competitiveness there with some artists. So they don't want to bring you into their light because they feel like you're going to take whatever they got going on. But
Tale as old as time, young man. Tale as old as time.
So
you do shows at all? Have you done any shows?
I've performed, but it wasn't for that, like my actual music, because I just started back recently putting out my music not too long ago.
Gotcha.
So I'm
I'm just telling you to prepare you to get ready. There will be people, you'll go somewhere and you're supposed to be on the bill. And everybody's going to be trying to jockey for a position. It's like, well, I don't want to follow that one. I want to go before them. Or, what I mean? I've seen. I mean, there have been established artists. I was watching something on Busta Rhymes the other day where, when Busta was on the come up, where Busta would be opening for somebody and Busta would come out and kill it. And then, a matter of fact, I think Bill Bellamy was talking about it. He said Busta Rhymes came out and burned the stage down, and Coolio was the headliner. Because Coolio was real big at that point. Like, when Bus got done, walked off stage, nobody wanted to hear Coolio. Like, Coolio came out and people were leaving. So, and he had the number one song in the country at that time with Gangsta's Paradise. But Bus was just blah, 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 and then it killed it. So you'll see that. That's why I was asking if you'd had anybody that you'd had a chance to collab and work with.
Look, I've offered plenty of time. Now I have been some people that have reached out and then like just on my end, like I wasn't vibing with the song at the time, so I don't want to just throw anything on your song and just to say I did a song with you. When it happens and it's the right time, then it happens. But yeah, I mean, I retract my other statement, but it's the truth. But sometimes you do kind of feel that tension because if, like I said, it's the Kobe child term, bro. That's literally what I mean. Like, okay, we in the same league and playing field and whatnot. We playing the same game. But if I hop on your song, I want to show you, hey, it's levels to this. Like, I'm trying to kill my verse or whatever I'm doing on there. I'm not coming to bag down and just be same old Ferez. That's my real name. Same old Ferez all the time. Like, because I feel like I'm not living up to my full potential. So
understood. And
yeah.
it takes an artist that is very secure in their place in the industry and with their legacy. I'll give you a perfect case in point. Tech Nine. Tech has no problem. Tech will put out a song and put the call out Like Tech is at like Worldwide Choppers. He had I can't remember some of the names of some of the international artists that he had, but then he brought in Twista and Busta Rhymes on Worldwide Choppers, and then he turned around and when he did speaking, and then of course Chris Calico. I mean, Cali is.
Yeah, I never heard of him. I heard of the other though.
Chris Calico is you've heard Speed 'em, right? No,
Gang.
my brother. Oh man, when you get off this show, we gonna talk. When we go off air, we gonna talk. I'm gonna play it for you. It's Chris Calico is one of the featured artists on his label Strange Music.
Okay.
And Chris and Tech, normally a bunch of the songs they do together. Like if you hear somebody singing the hook on a Tech Nine song, that's Cali.
Okay.
But Cali also raps, and he is nasty. And then he did Speed 'em. So Cali opens it up. No, I'm sorry. Tech opens it up. Cali jumps in with a verse, and then they go into the hook, and then they just pass it to Slim Shady, and he murked it. Like this was all in the span of M had just dropped Rap God, and Tech Nine had just dropped Worldwide Choppers, right? And then they turned around and like a year or two later, they did Speed 'em, and so. My point is, he came in and killed that verse, and then Busta Rhymes is on the end of Worldwide Choppers. Both of them killed that verse, but Tech was secure in that. It's like I'm good. I just want to show some love to my peoples. So, as long as you, as a performer, are able to, be aware that, and other people too. That's the hard part is working with other people and show them, look, nobody's trying to take your shine. It's just you asked me to do what I do, and that's what I did.
It's a shot. You put the ball in my hands. Don't put the ball in my hands and tell me don't shoot.
Huh, man? That'll preach right there. That's a sermon. That's a sermon. Pass that to the pastor when you go to church on Sunday and be like, hey, pastor, throw that in the sermon somewhere.
Pass the plate right here in my room. Everybody put a little bit in there.
Right about now, we thank you for coming to virtual church. There we are passing the collector. Collection plate is actively open during the entire sermon. You can hit the Cash App at $ First Mount Calvary Carmel Baptist Church AME Zion by the side of the road Jericho with Moses on the side with syrup and pancakes. Hashtag give me the money.
Shout out to them.
That's that all day church right there. So we talked about your goals, and I know you mentioned a lot of things like on a personal level, like where you would like to be. I want to expand that a little bit and go like, what about your music? What level of growth do you want to have with your music? There's one thing that you want to see as a performer is you want to be able to look back and say, this was good, but now I've grown. Anytime I talk to anybody about this, I always use MJ as the example. I mean, where he was as Little Michael with his brothers with Motown as to where he ended up, when he passed away, the levels of elevation that he took along his journey. So where do you want to be musically? When you get to, we just say 10 years down the road, and that's an eye blink. It goes by quick. Trust me.
Man, tell me about it. Man, that's really hard to say. Like, it's been sometimes I might say something and I might surpass that within the first year or two. And I'd be like, I didn't think I was going to be here that fast. So as of music wise, once again, just being globally known, like, because I feel like that's always been the goal for me. I always, as a kid, I was one of those kids that would look at TV and look at Disney Channel and be like, "Oh, I want to be like Eddie off That's So Raven." Or when I see them existing in the space that they're in on TV, that's always been my goal. I didn't know I was gonna grow up and speak about the things that I'm speaking about now, but and that's the way it happened. So it's kind of bland and in a gray area for me to say I want my music to do this, because I don't ever feel like I can say the exact thing that's gonna happen, because it always turns out bigger. So
Okay. Now, would you be okay with if that was a goal that you weren't able to attain?
what you mean?
Like you said, you want to become globally known. Like,
Uh,
and let's just say you hustle, you hustle, you get out there, you get some traction, you get some good traction, but you're not able to necessarily attain that goal. Would you be okay with that? I'm coming from a personal place because some years ago I used to be your age, because I'm 26. I'm a little older than you are,
uh, yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
there was a time that was me. That was what I wanted, and I didn't get there. But I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the fact that I was able to bless some folks along the way.
I feel like it, and that's what I say about the time thing. Like, even if it didn't happen when you thought it was supposed to happen, still don't mean it can't happen. So I find something like, what was that lady's name? She became an actor in Black Panther. She started her career at I think 80 something, 90 something years old, and she got that role, and now the world knows her as the grandmother off of Black Panther. I can't remember her name though.
Oh, the grandmother,
Or the lady of I can't remember. It was an older lady.
his grandmother or his mother?
Was it his mother?
Because
I'm,
his mother has been around. That's Angela Bassett. That's Queen
no, no,
Angela.
no, 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 not Angela. It's
Okay, I was gonna say, wait a minute. We need to take you back to history class.
no. I know who Angela Bassett is. Oh, many times I've seen her movies in the house. That's like a cultural black lady right there, bro. She got all the movies for the culture. But
She is
um,
going to become. I'm gonna make a bold prediction. Side note: I'm gonna make a bold prediction. She is going to become the next Cicely Tyson. I think she's going to become the next black female
I ain't mad.
actress to be that actress. Much love and rest in peace to Queen Cicely. By the way,
I feel like that's what my end goal is to be a staple. Like, I want to be one of those people. We look at like a Jay-Z or a Nipsey, like, even if I don't see it, I still want to be one of those people. I want to know the work that I'm putting in is something to be looked at and as a level to get to, rather than just being okay. His music was cool and whatever. I don't want to just be overlooked when I pass away. I want to be one of those. You feel me? I want to live.
Yeah, you don't want to be on a. You don't want to. Look down and be like, oh Lord, they're doing an unsolved special about me on BET.
Right. I don't want to be so predicament.
Right. So you said that you got a new project coming out. I know you don't want to put a whole lot out about what the project is coming out, but tell us. Okay, tell us what you can tell us about the project. Like, what's it called?
The project is called Kobe Child.
Okay.
It's in the realm of really pretty much everything we've talked about, like from being the best you can be in this area, talking about the hardship or not the hardships of my life, but just expressing the space that I'm in. And every project becomes like a timestamp. Okay, he was feeling this way right here, and this is what he left behind. Okay, and when you run into that, I feel like it's alignment. Everything is gonna be alignment. When somebody pick up their project, it was for you to hear, though. When somebody introduced you to this project, it was for you to hear. So I feel like that's how a lot of projects happen for me. Like, even if I didn't run into it myself, somebody around me would be like, "Hey, you heard that Crit?" And I didn't know who Crit was at the time, or Big Crit.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the people I look to. And his last album, Forever Is a Mighty Long Time, like, that was one of those projects for me that showed a lot of growth, and I'm still growing with that album. So I remember meeting him, and I go to his concert. It's the first time I'm telling this story.
Oh, it's a word? Okay.
I go to his concert, and like, I've listened to the whole album, but it let me know how immature I was and just like unaware I was when I went to his show in Nashville. We get there. My friend hit me up. I almost missed the show, so I end up having a ride with somebody else to get there or whatever. When they was leaving out, I was out shopping. But long story short, we get to Nashville. Just the experience is live. Taking shots. Everybody turned up. Okay, now we finna We get the show started. He come out, do his thing. I'm knowing just about every word to every song except for like the second part. He dropped a double album, Big Crit and Justin Scott side. The Big Crit side is what I was leaning more to, which was his younger perspective, if I don't say so myself. Then you
Okay.
the Scott side, which is his real name. And then when I find out, like I'm going up there, the whole time up there, I was like, I want to spit a verse for him. I want to show my hunger. And I get up there, first thing I do when I walk around the corner for the meet and greet, yo, Crit, can I spit a 16 for you? He was like, I got a long line, but take this picture and spit it for my cameraman. From there, I was just like, oh, bro, I just blew it. I've been listening to his.
Uh-huh.
I've been listening to Forever is a Day. I mean, Forever in a Day. Forever is a Mighty Long Time. King Remembered in Time. Like, I didn't listen to all of these projects and I didn't express that to him. I more so tried to seize the opportunity to like, let me show my hunger. Like, even though I didn't even want to get signed, my verse that I spit was talking about not getting signed. But I'm thinking like, oh, he gonna look at me, oh bro, you hard. I wanna do music with you, but not realize like my younger perspective. So everybody coming up to him probably saying the same thing. I seen somebody give him CDs before I got up there. So I
Man,
spit
look, you know how stuff folks hand him. He hand over to his publisher people.
for sure.
You know, you listen. You and Big Crit, me and Boys the Men. First time I did a Boys the Men meet and greet, I was like, I'm gonna get in this line. When they call me up front, I'm just gonna bust out singing. And
Yep.
then when it came my time to be there, I was like, Yo, what's up, fellas? Hey, great show, guys. And it was like I was like, you know, like they, I had this idea. We tend to have these ideas in our mind because we hear the stories about especially with Boys and Men because that's exactly how they got signed. They snuck backstage and sang for Biv and them, and Biv was like, "Yo, call my peoples." But we all have those in our head, these fantasies where it's like in the movies where it's like, if I don't get to get on stage and so and so's gonna be there and I'm gonna miss my big chance. Don't let that discourage you, young brother. It's you get there. You keep hustling and you keep hustling and you keep striving and you will attain some measure of success. It might not be what you planned to get, but you will attain some measure of success. That much I can guarantee you.
For sure. That's been my whole thing now. Just more so focusing on what I have and not what I don't have. So learning to appreciate everything. That's why I feel like I'm more apt to want to make albums rather than just singles because a lot of times I feel like singles is just, I don't know. It's hard to put a lot into singles. So I end up feeling just like I'm just talking about the surface more so than really diving into my life, so to speak.
I see you and I are opposite on that in that I feel like for me, my process is, like I said, I put out 3 EPs, 1 gospel and 2 R&B. And the big thing with a single is when I get a song, I get the whole thing. I hear it. We talked about this earlier, how you hear the whole thing in your head.
Uh-huh.
And I can focus all my energy on that one piece because I'm not in the middle of working on one song and going, oh man, this would sound so much better on this song. No, I'm focusing on making this song the best it can be. Now, when I've done the EPs, it was the same thing. It's just that I got all of these songs together at the same time. It was almost like as soon as I finished one song, I had the inspiration for another one. And as soon as I finished that one, I got an inspiration for another one. But I find that it's easy. Some people do. They say it's easier for them to do singles than it is to do albums. Because if you do a single and you put all your energy into that single and that single pops, that's great. And then that leaves them ready for the album. And then, because you can put a lot of work into an album. I don't know about you, but I know growing up, I almost didn't want to buy it. I got to a point where later on, as the record store started closing up and stuff, and thank God they're making a comeback, that it was like I didn't even want to go out and buy an album until I heard at least 3 or 4 of the songs from the album on the radio. Because I didn't want to go shell out the 10 or 12 bucks I was spending back then to buy an album and the hit be the only good song on the album. They just, the record label was like, they were lazy. We're going to put all our weight behind this one single, and then here's the rest of this, whatever. This is just filler tunes.
For sure. I had to get out of the just the attachment to an album. I put it that way. A lot of times I'm thinking of an album as like the grand scheme or an umbrella, but whatever falls under that umbrella with making singles, or I try to it's like I have a mindset of trying to make everything a single. So if I put this effort into making this song for with the idea of an album, then it turns into, when I throw all of these songs together, this might not be as good as this song, but it's still not trash to the point where you just gonna want to turn it off either. So it turns into you collectively building an album. But Russ said the same thing you said. So I respect both of y'all's perspective. I'm learning to work my way into that rather than trying to be so closed-minded where I don't, you feel me, make singles at all, or just think I don't have to make singles. Every song I make, I feel like is a single, in my opinion, but everybody don't look the same way either. So that's a whole nother conversation.
I got you there. So we're kind of running up against it right here, but I wanted to ask you, I wanted to go back and address the how we met portion of the interview. And something that I mentioned is I noticed that you were doing the mashups. So where did you get the idea? Is that something that you've always done, or was that an idea that you just had when that contest is going? It's like, this is what I'm going to do to make myself stand out. Like, I'm going to take this song and I'm going to take a Trey Songz and a Weekend and a Maxwell and put them together in one song.
Right. That was really just a freestyle moment. Like, I'd seen somebody do that. I can't remember who else did it, but I really didn't know what songs I wanted to sing. I was just kind of like freestyling my way through those songs. So, I'm like, okay, I know this part of this song and I know this part of this song, and I just about know this whole song. So if I can take a lot of meat away from the song I know already and then add like the high key parts of what this song is, it turns into a super duper medley, because, okay, this is a key part in the Maxwell song that when you hear that, your ears
Wait a minute, I put you on pause for a second. If there's any women watching this interview right now, whether they're live or in replay, just then, collectively, all of them just went, ooh. They just, I know you gotta want me before you do that, baby. You can't be doing that to you.
I'm gonna get auntie a heart attack.
Sang, baby. That's that part when they put both arms on the side of the chair and sit up and sang, baby, sang. Wave their hand like they're in church.
But just taking those key, you feel me, those key parts that you know, like, so put this part right there. That's my opener. That's the opener of his song. I'm gonna open my medley with this. Then take a song that everybody like, and it don't really have an opener, but this verse everybody likes. So put that verse right there, and then just kind of piece it together like some gumbo.
Ain't nothing wrong with a good pot of gumbo. I gotta be careful though. Mine gotta have like sausage and stuff in it because I can't do shellfish. But yeah, because every time I was listening, I was like, wait a minute, I thought he was singing something else, and then you just went the opposite direction. But worked for you, bro, because you had some tight competition. I mean, shoot, I matter of fact, I could see the three of y'all together on one bill. I don't even think y'all live close to each other though.
I don't think so.
That would be something. I would pay money to come see the three of y'all on a show together. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not blowing smoke. I would come to see y'all do y'all thing, because y'all just with but listen, people, no music, no backing tracks, and that probably had to do something to do with copywriting because it was streaming on Facebook. But no music and no backing tracks. They just had to sing a cappella, and all three of them was killing. Ladies, I'm telling y'all, Southern Res. I'm just gonna stay with Southern Red because this is his interview, but the other two cats was tight too. So for real though, man, I do. It's been a pleasure having you on. I've enjoyed talking with you, and I want you to stick around after. But before we go, I need you to go ahead and tell everybody. I got the lower third has got your handles down there. That's at Southern Res on IG and Twitter. Also has a YouTube page. His music is available. Tell them where they can find the music, because I found it on Amazon, But let the people know any place else they can find it.
You can find me on all streaming platforms. Whether you go to Apple Music, YouTube, Spotify, you can find me. Southern Rez. Just type in that name and you can find all of my music. And more music coming soon too.
Absolutely. Well, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, that, ladies and gentlemen, was Southern Rez. I do appreciate having you on, brother. Again, like I said, I'm gonna have you hang out after we're done here. Oh, that's not the theme I wanted to play. I want the one without the thing there. There we go. I needed the one without the introduction. I'm about to start the show over again. We appreciate you. I'm getting old, man. Appreciate having you on, man. We're going to talk some more after this is all done. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you that tuned in today, appreciate you for tuning in to this week's edition of Indie and Unsigned. We'll be back next week, 1 p.m. Central. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. You can find us at Indie and Unsigned on Facebook. You can find us under Zagnif Productions. You can find us on Zagnif Productions on Twitter and also on the IG. On behalf of myself and Southern Rez, we appreciate y'all, and we are about this piece. We'll catch up with you next week. Holla.